Saint Nicholas of Myra was born approximately between 270 AD and died around 343 AD. We celebrate his feast on the 6th December, which is said to be the date that he died. Let us zoom into his life, at least what we know of it. We know that he was born in Patara, which is found in Turkey. Check out where it is! Patara is an ancient city, which was the capital of Lycia in Turkey. It was a maritime port because of its proximity to the Mediterranean Sea. Near it, today, we find Gelimes. His father was Epiphanes and his mother was called Joanne. He was born from a wealthy family and a Christian one. Over here, we're seeing a fresco of the birth of Saint Nicholas. In my opinion, it depicts the wealth in which he lived in as a child. You know, there's an old saying which states that on Wednesdays, as a newborn, Saint Nicholas refused his mother's milk. Was it a saintly deed? Who knows? His parents died in an epidemic when he was young. He grew up, and as a teenager, he studied Church's sacred scriptures and read divine texts. He was an outstanding student. It is said that he was a very devoted youth who did not leave the church until he finished reading all of the texts. It is not the first time that he kept reading these texts late into the night. In this fresco, we're seeing Saint Nicholas going to school. As a young man, he spent all of his wealth to help others. He assisted the needy, helped the sick, and helped those who were suffering. We find a fresco which depicts the story of Saint Nicholas saving 3 poor girls and their father by giving each money to help them get married. Saint Nicholas was ordained a priest by his uncle, the Bishop Nicholas of Patara. He was a true Catholic and practiced what he preached. Whenever he did a good deed, he always did it in secret. This is what makes him so special. In the Decani Monastery, we see another fresco of Saint Nicholas saving the 3 maidens. Let's get things straight about Saint Nicholas. He never broke in anywhere, and he never went down chimneys. He only used to leave money on windowsills and behind the doors of the needy. Alright, fine. There might be one story which states that he threw money down the chimney, but he did no break-ins. There is more to say about him, even though there's not much written. But let's take a look at the other sections. So, Saint Nicholas is a patron saint. Saint Nicholas is considered to be a patron saint by many different groups of societies. First and foremost, the reason why the school was named after him was truly because he is considered as the patron saint of children. Saint Nicholas is considered as the guardian of the children. He was very generous towards children and youth. There have been lots of instances in which he rescued children from calamities. A story states that he saved children from a butcher and returned them safely to their parents. He also found lots of children who were kidnapped and returned them safely to their homes. Saint Nicholas is also considered as the patron saint of sailors. There is a story of Saint Nicholas where he was once travelling by the sea to the Holy Land to see where Jesus had lived and died. While sailing, a strong storm caused the waters to become dangerous, and the sailors were very frightened. Saint Nicholas prayed for the seas to calm, and shortly thereafter, it did. It is due to this story that Saint Nicholas is considered a patron saint of those travelling by the sea and sailors. In Greece, there are lots of icons of Saint Nicholas, surrounded by offerings of small ships made of silver or carved of wood to fulfill gifts done by sailors as a thanks for their safe return. Did you know? Sailors, when they're going out to sea, they never say good luck, but they say, "May Saint Nicholas hold the tiller." Enough of sailors, now let's go back. So here we have that he's the patron saint of others. Others? Let's check it out. Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of prisoners, especially those who were wrongly condemned, because he had a strong concern for justice, especially for innocent victims. You know, he's also the patron saint of young women seeking marriage partners. Today, young women who wish to get married still go to the Basilica di San Nicola in Bari, Italy, on the 6th December to leave a note to St. Nicholas and put 3 coins in a box. If you're interested but you think it's too expensive, don't worry. In Malta, you can go around the statue of St. Nicholas in Sigiri 7 times while praying to him. Good luck. Are you interested in cooking? Did you know that St. Nicholas is also the patron of baking, confectioneries, and chocolateries? Since he's associated with children and Christmas, he's considered to be the patron saint of everything sweet. Enough of patron saint thing. Let's move on. Now we need to take a look on how change has been done from saint to Santa. Are they the same or different? Let's start from the gift-giving part, how it all started. On 6th December, gifts were exchanged on the feast of St. Nicholas, but Martin Luther thought that this idea was idolatrous. He decided that gifts should be given on Christmas in the name of Jesus. From here, the idea of Christkind started. Christkind, or Der Weihnachtsmann, well, translation Father Christmas to all those who don't speak German, was always accompanied by another figure, such as Krampus. This used to scare and punish the misbehaved children. In Malta, we have the figure called Il Gau Gau. Next topic. The Dutch still continue to surprise children with little gifts. The children used to put boots on windowsills, and in the morning of 6th December, they were filled with sweets and small gifts. A boy was dressed as a bishop, and he had to preach to the children how to behave. In England, records are found in which show that money was allocated for this event. Protestants eventually did not venerate St. Nicholas, but they still exchanged gifts. Henry VIII was the one who banned the boy bishop tradition from England and adopted the personification of Christmas, Father Christmas, that symbolizes the pleasure of Christmas found everywhere. But how did Santa evolve? In America, when the New World was evolving, a lot of groups which were anti-British citizens formed societies and called themselves the Sons of St. Nicholas. Then, Washington Irving in 1809 published a satirical book called Knickerbocker's History of New York from the beginning of the world to the end of the Dutch dynasty, in which Sinterklaas, or St. Nicholas, played a decent-sized role. Washington Irving created a new popularity for the bishop. Then Clement Clarke Moore wrote a poem. I'm sure you've heard of it. It starts like this. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by chimney with care. This was from the poem. It was from this poem that St. Nicholas was given the title of chubby and plump man. He even got reindeers in the sleigh, and that's how we know him today. The 9th of May marks the anniversary of which the saint's relics from Myra, Turkey, were stolen and then moved to Bari, Italy in 1807. This is a great feast in Bari in Italy. In the evening, the stone sarcophagus is opened. The Archbishop of Bari extracts 1 or 2 glasses of water formed during the year around the saint's bones. It is this so-called manna. A father of the Dominican community pours this manna into large containers filled with blessed water, making a large quantity to fill small bottles in order to satisfy the requests of sick people and pilgrims. In Malta, on 6th December, a procession with a small statue of St. Nicholas will be organized from the Sigiri Primary School to the Sigiri Parish Church. This procession is usually accompanied by the 2 local bands. Later, there will also be a mass and a celebration outside. The official feast of St. Nicholas is on the last Sunday of June. Did you know? In the beginning of June, women volunteer to bake this kind of bread. This bread is made up of 7 small nodes of dough attached together. It's a reminder of a miracle which St. Nicholas did on wheat, where he made more of it. This is a famous quote of St. Nicholas, which has a lot of thought put into it. Children, I beseech you to correct your hearts and thoughts, so that you may be pleasing to God. Consider that, although we may reckon ourselves to be righteous and frequently succeed in deceiving men, we can conceal nothing from God. Happy St. Nicholas Day!